Good morning, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your breakfast bankroll for Saturday, May 14, 2022. The weekend is here, and for the locals, buckle up. We got some game sevens to talk about. You know, it was funny. The NBA has no game sevens in the first round. And wouldn't you know, they had one last night. Golden State prevails in the fourth quarter and covers. Tomorrow, the Celtics will host the Bucks. Opened up 5-point favorites. That's a little eye-opening again. And then the night game will be Phoenix trying to get the dream matchup everyone wants. Against Golden State will host Luka and the Mavericks, and I think they're 7.5, 8 points. 6.5, 7.5. I'll get that number for you there. The local Red Sox have now officially won 2 in a row. First time since mid-April they've been able to do that. And the Bats woke up. I talked about this on Thursday. Texas has been a good spot for them, for the Bats to wake up. And again, their starting pitching prevailed, did very well, and the bullpen held up. I talk about fading the public on Fridays. It's payday. It's big favorites and overs. And, every game is a landmine or a gold mine. And two of the big landmines yesterday, Max and the Mets score 1 in the first and really should have scored a lot more. And don't score the rest of the game. They lose 2-1, and Max closed at minus 230, 240, 245. 260 at DraftKings. And then the cherry on top, Kershaw scratched. In comes Walker, don't call me Ferris Bueller. And this Phillies offense, the one that we've been waiting for all year, puts up a 12 spot, and they beat the Dodgers 12-10. Bueller closes right around 215. I see a 230 at FanDuel, a 235 at DraftKings there. But the offense in some of these games has picked up. Don't look now. Cincinnati, I talked about them earlier in the week. 8-2 at Pittsburgh. We talked about the pitchers duel, which we got Burns versus Lopez. Again, I think that's 7. No, I saw a stat last night on Marlins Twitter. I think the 11th one-run loss now the Marlins have had. It's either 7 or 11 there on that one. San Fran and Logan roll 8-2 at St. Louis. That pitching duel that we talked about with Gosman. Gosman got lit up. Scotty's Rays win 5-2. Minnesota, Scotty talked about Savali, puts up a 12 spot. They hold on to win 12-8. Yankees just keep rolling. Let's be honest. Stanton is just crushing the ball. 10-4 at the White Sox there. I skipped over the damn game. Where was it? We thought we had a pitcher's duel, San Diego and Atlanta, Darvish versus Fried. And I said, when we get these pitching duels, this is usually what happens. And it did. Padres 11-6 there. They win at Atlanta. Padres have had a great start. The Astros just keep rolling 6-1. Their pitching and hitting is working together. And I talked about on Twitter, social media, gambling Twitter, whenever Freeland's at home, they take the under. I think the stat was like 22-4 the last 26 games. 14-10 Kansas City there. So that's just some of the games yesterday. In hockey, Florida closes out Washington 4-3. Rangers hold off elimination down 2-0. Rally to take a 3-2 lead. Pittsburgh ties it 3-3, and then Rangers go on to win 5-3. Tomorrow, Game 7, I saw them open up as high as 150, which I talked to a few of the colleagues there. That was crazy. Dallas, this Oettinger has been lights out, 4-2. There'll be a Game 7 in Calgary as well. Lot to talk about. So let's bring him in without further ado. The one, the only, Mr. Scotty Webb. What?
Morning, Jeff. It's a pretty fun Friday night for most of us, or well, some of us, I suppose. I think I went 2-1 yesterday. Didn't fare too good with Toronto, but did real well with San Francisco. Did real well with Houston, so feel pretty good about that. have a I got a full board of shit today, so holy crap!
Uh, ECSI VIPs 1 and 2 for the day yesterday, and I don't say this often, but I will. I feel grateful for the 1 and 2. How's that sound? Uh, I I played the Tigers. We played the Tigers. First five minus the hook, and Detroit scrapped 1 run on 2 hits. And Erod could have gotten big trouble in the first and second. He escaped, so I felt grateful there. Um, we had Max minus the 1.5. I fell for the trap there. And our other game, I'm drawing a brain fart here. It'll come to me. But 1 and 2 for the day there.
Did,
Baseball
did you
this
have Toronto too?
I had Toronto minus the hook with Gosman first five. Something, these Jays bats, it's you know
We're asleep.
no, they are comatose right now. And it's funny because some of these other teams are really cranking it up. And you know what the Yankees are doing right now, running and hiding, running and hiding. I feel like Ocean's 11. You can run, you can hide, go hide now. uh and big market teams such as the Yanks, you get a nice cushion like that. Then you're just fine tuning and figuring out at the break what you can add, what you need. You can give some people some rest. You start tinkering with it. It's Judge for a couple days. In comes Stanton. They're clicking on all cylinders.
Yeah, I'm wondering what's going to happen with Donaldson if he's ever going to hit. Now, I will say this: Donaldson is getting on base because he's getting a lot of walks. So if they could ever get Donaldson going, I think that um, you got Judge and Rizzo, who's just he's been a perfect Yankee so far. Stanton and if you got Donaldson rolling, I'm not sure anybody's going to be able to handle that because the truth is, the Yankees can pitch. So I mean, I don't know. Whatever it is, what it is, I suppose. And these teams better start getting. I mean, let's put it this way: the Rays aren't running away from them. They're there, and the Rays have had their number. So I'd be interested to see how a matchup with the Rays and the Yankees kind of fares out here, especially when the Yankees are hot and the Rays are well. The Rays are pretty hot too. I mean, they just came off a 7-3 road trip and then they just beat Toronto. Um, so maybe maybe it's going to be a two-horse race and Toronto's not going to be there at the end. I don't know. I didn't see it that way. I saw Toronto was winning this division.
That would probably. And listen, I saw earlier this week the most underachieving, the not the biggest surprise, the biggest flop so far this year. And a lot of our colleagues, they have the Red Sox. Well, it is what it is. I mean, if you look outside, looking in what they did slash didn't do in the off season, and you're totally basing it on what they did last year, the writing was definitely on the wall for the Red Sox. Now, I will tell you this: I never thought their front end starting pitching would do as well as it has done. First of all, there were glaring holes in the back end. There were moves that were made. Hunter Renfro's probably got what 6 or 7 home runs already. Schwarber's hitting home runs. There was some moves that they didn't make, bringing Jackie Bradley back. I still, to this day, I'll take it to my grave. I think before the lockout, they thought they had Suzuki. So they thought that they could make that move to get JBJ back, play the analytics game so they could have one on paper on analytics, the strongest outfields in the game, but they're just not getting hitting. And then, of course, the black cloud hanging over them. Are they going to re-sign Bogarts? Which, listen, Helen Keller knows they're not going to re-sign Bogarts, and could become massive sellers come All-Star break, which we all know. And trade deadline will not be fun here. But I like the way baseball's going. I like you look at some of these divisions, and I'm not a Yankee fan, obviously, but everyone thought I was one of them that the Jays were going to go run away and hide, and Yankees and Rays are doing that. And I tell you right now, if the Jays don't wake up and smell the coffee, they're in trouble. I know they can score 8, 9, 10 runs. We all know that, but their back end's not that good anyways. And they've shown some holes in that front end. And so it's going to be interesting, Scott.
Yeah, I think that if what is today? Today's May 14th. That if you would have said, "Hey, who's going to be the surprise teams?" I would have told you Miami and some of these other teams. I was high on Milwaukee. I was high on some of these other teams. I would never have told you in a million years. I would have never told you that the New York Yankees would have the record they do. What are they? They got 24 wins now, or something like that. 23, 24, somewhere in there. They're projected over 100 wins now. I would have never said that.
24-8.
Yeah, see, there you go. That's pretty damn good. And we were talking about the Yankees there for a little while and said, "Oh, look, they're beating the lowly Cleveland Guardians, and they're beating the Orioles, and they're beating the Royals." Okay, well, they're beating everybody. So, and their run differential is bigger than anybody. So, they're just mowing everybody down. And I don't know, maybe it's just a hot streak. These guys do that. Stanton goes on a hot streak where he hits for a month, and then all of a sudden he's got a month off. So maybe June is a swoon month for them, where they just go, "Oh my God, we did so much work in May. Let's take a break." So I don't know. We'll see.
To put it in perspective, just wins, losses. Okay. So the Yankees have 24 wins. Your Rays, who are 8-3 the last 11, 20. So you're 4 games back. That's respectable. The Jays, who we all thought would be, the leader of the pack, 17 wins. So they're already 7 games behind the Yankees. 17-16, 1 game over 500. The Red Sox, 12-20, already 12 games back. And we try to break up the season. First month this year was a little jaded because of the delay, because of the lockout and stuff. But usually go first month, you get to Memorial Day, okay, and now we get into June, and then obviously the All-Star break, the first week in July is where we really start to break this down. But listen, let's be realistic here. The Sox, for instance, already 12 games back. I mean, you're going to need one of those, magical 17-3 runs. Hope the Yankees go 500, okay, at 10-10, and then you only picked up 7 games, and you're still 5 back.
Well, that's the problem. I mean, you can't get this far behind. So they always say you can't win a division in the first month, which I agree with. I mean, you can get off to a hot start. And anything can happen. I mean, you can have injuries, you can have this, and the Yankees have been pretty healthy so far, and they're a team that's pretty fragile. So how many games is Judge going to miss? How many games is Stanton going to miss? How many games is Donaldson going to miss, and Rizzo and all those guys? Because they seem to always miss. So, if they're healthy and they stay healthy, this is maybe what you can get out of that team. I don't know that I can really recall all of them being healthy all the time together. Stanton's been healthy without Judge, and Judge has been healthy without Stanton, and you got Severino, who's been on the shelf for 2 years, and all these guys that have just been hurt. So maybe this is their year where they come up and say, "We're healthy and we're ready to go." And obviously Judge didn't get that contract, so maybe he's got a chip on his shoulder and playing with a little added venom or something. So who knows? I don't mind baseball with the Yankees being good. I think that means that everybody else hates them and everybody else is trying to beat them up and all that stuff. And then they just sit there and go and bring out a football team to play baseball is what it looks like. Those guys are all 7 foot tall and 250 pounds. And, they're a bunch of big linebacker, tight end type guys. So it'll be interesting to see. I still think that obviously they have a good back end, but they have some holes in the back end. Green, something's wrong with Green. He hasn't been pitching pretty well. He's been sort of a soft spot for their bullpen. And I don't know. We'll just have to see. I'm interested to see what happens with them at shortstop, because they got two shortstops in the minor leagues that are ready to play. So I don't know what they're going to end up doing if they have a good year like this. Where do they find room for these guys, or what do they do? They get rid of kind of Falefa, or do they finally get rid of Torres, or I don't know what they're going to do. But talking about the Red Sox, you know what all these teams need so let's just talk about Cincinnati, because that's what happened, right? Cincinnati's got on a hot streak. How did they get going? Tyler Stevenson. That's how they got going. He got back into the lineup after his concussion protocol and just started raking. And then once he started raking, everybody started raking. They need a spark plug. Somebody, you got to be the guy that carries the team for a little bit. And who's going to be that guy on the Red Sox? And that's all they need. You just need to get a spark and get going. Because once you get going, it erupts. That little blaze turns into a big blaze. And who knows where it's going to go? Obviously, we don't want to talk about wildfires and all that kind of crazy stuff. But at the same time, that's what you want in baseball. You want something just a blazing, like the Angels. Holy crap. The Angels just beat up. Hey, that kid pitched pretty good yesterday, didn't he? That's whatever the hell his name was. That kid pitched great.
I was all giddy because the Sox had a to be determined tomorrow. And I was like, here we go. Finally, they got some common sense here. They're moving Whitlock back to the back end. And you know what they decided to do? Give them an extra day off and say, hey, here's the ball. You're facing the Astros on Monday. And I'm like, you kidding me?
Well, the Astros have won, 11 in a row now, I think.
22 wins right now.
Yeah, but how many in a row? I think 11, right?
11.
11 straight. And then today they get Fetty, and then tomorrow they get another Washington pitcher. It don't matter who it is. So tomorrow they'll get somebody like that. So they might be on what is that? Today would make 12. Tomorrow make 13. They might be on 13 straight games before they play the Red Sox.
I'd say this right now. So far to go, I get all that. Okay, gun to my head right now, just breaking down both teams. The Astros are the better team than the Yankees, in my eyes. I think they got more. If I say they have more length in the offense, people are going to look at me like I have 10 heads. But if you break it down from Altuve, Bregman, Alvarez, Tucker, I think their length, and I'll trust they don't have a Cole. I think, but they got more 1As and Bs than the Yankees do, in my eyes, right now.
I'm going to disagree with you only in the sense that the Astros lineup's not the way it used to be. They used to be able to put 8 guys out there and really have an 8-guy lineup. But now they're running out there Altuve. Now Tucker's coming around. And they got Brantley, right? And I don't think of Brantley as this major hitter. Brantley's just a slap singles hitter anymore. He's not a power guy. So you got Altuve, you got Brantley, and you got Bregman, and then you got their hitter. I mean, the Alvarez is the guy you got to stay away from.
I'll match Alvarez with Stanton, with Judge, whoever you want over there, as long as he stays healthy.
They both got 12. I mean, I think he's got 11 home runs now, or 12, Alvarez, and Judge has 12. Stanton's got 10, and there ain't no other Astro that's got 10. So when you start to look at it, well, the one thing that the Astros have that the Yankees don't have is they got a leadoff hitter. I mean, you got Altuve who can bat leadoff. And, the Yankees have been putting different guys up there, but I think they're starting to settle in on whatever that guy is they got from Colorado. I forget his name. But that guy,
LeMahieu?
LeMahieu, yeah, they like LeMahieu there. And then they bat Judge, and I like them splitting Judge and Stanton because there's strikeouts there. So they put Rizzo in there, and Rizzo's not as much of a strikeout guy as those two are. So when you start to look at it that way, or even Donaldson can play somewhere in there because he gets walks. So you've got those guys in that lineup, and then you match them up to what they got over on the other side. And what I think people are forgetting is, they got Houston's got Uriel, who has been just a stud player for a long time. Well, you guys know how old he is? I mean, he's 39 years old. He is not the same guy he used to be, and he's not hitting. I think he hit his first home run of the season a day or two ago. So then they're counting on the guys like McCormick to play center field, and they got Maldonado behind the plate. And those, I'm not going to say they're automatic outs, but those guys aren't the same guys as what you're lining up for the Yankees. Now, I would tell you that if everybody's all healthy and everybody's hitting, I'd throw the Yankees lineup up there before I would put the Astros out there. Now, it depends on if they're banged up and hurt and all that kind of stuff, just like any other lineup. But it's interesting because the other side of it too is, Verlander's an ace. He's a number one, and he can match Cole. I mean, those two guys can go head to head, no question. And then the Yankees, who are you going to throw number two? Are you going to throw Severino? Are you going to throw Montgomery? You're going to throw Nasty Nestor. I don't know who you're going to throw out there. You're going to throw Tyon. They all been pitching well. So what ends up happening though is that the Astros are pretty much set that way. So the Astros have Verlander, and then they have that left-handed guy, whatever his name is. He's not pitching today, but it's not Urquidy, it's not Garcia, it's the other guy.
Javier?
No, he's pitching today. Holy crap, I'll have to look it up because I can't remember off the top of my head who he is. But that's their number two. He is Valdez, Framber Valdez. That's the number two. So they're going to go Valdez. All right, so if Valdez goes number two, and he's going to match up to any Yankee number two for the most part. So then you got Garcia, who could match up to any Yankee number three. And then you kind of get a little bit hazy with Urquidy and the 4 and 5 guys. Javier is pretty good, but I think he might struggle a little bit today. But anyway, Javier is pretty good. Odorizzi's not very good.
He's pitching his ass off though right now, and we both
he is. But would you rather have him, or would you rather have, I don't know, Nasty Nestor or Tyon or whoever, right? So when I look at it from that perspective, I think the offenses are pretty close. I think the pitching is pretty close, but I still give the little bit of an edge to the Yankees. And in the bullpen, I got to give the edge to the Yankees, even though the Astros bullpen has been pretty good. So look, I hope. Here's what I hope. I always hope this. At the end of the season, I hope the best teams play each other. That's what I hope. And I hope, and no disrespect to the underdogs and all that stuff, but I really don't want some little team that makes the playoffs to get in there and knock off one of the big boys, because I want the big boys to slug it out with the big boys in the American League, and then I want the National League big boys to play each other, and then say, okay, somebody like, I don't know, let's just say the Yankees and the Dodgers in the World Series. Now, Jesus, that would draw 8 million zillion people and 8 million zillion views, and holy crap, that would be a slugfest.
I'll give you guys the quick eye test. Woke up this morning and I didn't have that. And it's kind of crazy. You think a menu there. I'm trying to. These guys are really killing me today, Wager Talk. I was going to start from the bottom and work my way up before I pass the torch to you. I just wanted to give you guys some opening numbers on the hockey right now. And let's see. Here we go. The Bruins face off at 4:35, Game 7 at Carolina. Opened at 130, now minus 131. 135 at Westgate, 140 at South Point DraftKings. You got, Game 7, Carolina's dominated at home. The Bruins are going to have to get out early and often. They can't get behind 2-0 in the first period. The ECSI VIPs have the Bruins at a pick 'em, and they have the Bruins plus 170. So if you guys want out, you can just put 2 units on Carolina and just call it a day. If Carolina wins, you win 2 units and you break even there. If the Bruins win, you win 2.7 and you lose 2.6. So you can get out on that one. We have Toronto minus 130 VIPs. I like Toronto. I think they hold on. Again, if you want out, you can take Tampa today. They opened at plus 105. They're now plus 116 or 117. So you got to clean out there. We have not been in the LA Edmonton series at all. Opened at 220, now at 210 there. Let me see if I can get up to the bases now. Strictly eye test. Junis versus Hudson. Don't know what you're going to get from Junis. The San Fran bats are good. I mean, they're clicking again. I'm a Hudson guy. Hasn't been great. I like the spot for St. Louis in a bounce back. Haven't figured that one out yet. Manaea versus Morton. I don't think Morton has it anymore. And I that 137, I would not play. I do like the thought process of a bounce back, but just not with Morton in my money. Manaea's been I feel for Miami. In comes Laura versus Rogers. Milwaukee overnight at 140, now 122. It's just so hard to take Miami. They just cannot score. And, nothing worse than, 10, 11 one-run losses there. I feel for it. Our buddy, Mr. Craig Mish there. Castillo, second start at Pittsburgh versus Zach Thompson since he opened at 120. I might lean some Cincinnati first 5 there. Obviously, you got to hope to get the good Castillo second outing, get some strikes, get some strikeouts, get them 4 or 5 and get out of Dodge. Suarez versus Urias in Dodgerville. Dodgers opened at 180, still 180. Suarez has been pitching okay. You got some value in the Phillies. Will the Dodgers lose 2 straight at home? Hendricks versus Gallen. There again, not a Cubs guy, not a Hendricks guy. Gallen's been okay. A little pricey, obviously, maybe minus the hook first 5 there. Diaz and Blackburn, they're playing a doubleheader. Blackburn's been pitching well for Oakland. They just can't score. They sound like the Marlins there. Baltimore, Detroit, Pineda versus Zimmerman. Short favorite on the Tigers. Vegas thinks Baltimore bounces back today. Toronto and Tampa, Ryu versus Yarbrough. The return of Ryu. I don't know what to expect there. Again, Toronto is not hitting. Sox, Rich Hill versus Otto. Otto opens up as a small favorite. I lean Red Sox here. They won 2 in a row. Bats are waking up. Hill has been very good there. Yankees and White Sox, Montgomery versus Keuchel. Montgomery minus 157. Listen, I'm not a Keuchel guy at all. Look at the Yankees team total. They're smashing the ball. Maybe it's 4.5. I'm not sure. I would lean Yankees first 5 there. Scott's talked about it. Bieber versus Minnesota. Bieber, something's wrong. He's not cracking 92, 93. Short favorite, very sketchy, I'm afraid. I'm hoping Bieber gets a solid 5 or 6 and gets the hell out of Dodge. Not a Smeltzer guy. Angels and Oakland. Lorenzen's been okay. Not a big Aller fan. Big favorites on the Angels. Maybe you can sneak in the first 5 there. Javier and Fede, you know my thoughts about Fede. I would look Houston first 5 there, minus the hook. Kirby versus Bassett. Again, Mets showed me nothing. I said on my timeline yesterday, Scott, I think the Mets are going to get DeGrom, and they did. You get fat when you get a stud like Scherzer, DeGrom on the mound. You put up 1 and you think the game's over, and they just fell asleep. They made Gonzalez look like Randy Johnson yesterday. Kirby versus Bassett there. And the final, Kansas City, Colorado, Hernandez versus Marquez. Colorado, big favorites there. I would try to sneak in Marquez minus the hook first 5. Board yours, Scotty.
All right. So First game is San Francisco St. Louis. That game goes at 2:15. Let me switch this screen over here so that I got it this way. And this is a flip flop. So Junis only made one start so far, and the start that he made was the very last time out, and he was against St. Louis. He threw a game score 52, and over the past couple years, he pitched for Kansas City, and he didn't get over 50. So I'm expecting him to get bombed up a little bit. And Hudson threw a game score 34. So I like the idea, first of all, that you got a little bit more seasoned pitcher in St. Louis. Number one. Number two, you got a guy that going to make some adjustments, and he's going to pitch pretty well today. So I'm good with that. I like the idea too that Hudson's a big ground ball guy. So I think anytime you have one of these ground ball pitchers, you should feel a little more comfortable about missing the power. And you're was he minus 110, 105 or something. So it's like a pick 'em. It's a good spot for them. So I'm all in on St. Louis today. I like that one. So that's number one. Number two, that the next game goes, I think, what time does it go? It goes at 4:05. This is San Diego and Atlanta, and I'm all in on Manaea today in San Diego. And the reason is because Morton's off of his best start that he's thrown so far this season. He threw a game score 64 last time out, but he's had trouble with San Diego's lineup in the past. His xwOBA number is 399. His Sierra and xFIP number 589, 552. And if I told you that they were the highest on the board today, would you believe it? It's true. That's a big number. So the expectation level of his performance is expected to be low. So I like the idea that you're going to be able to get San Diego today at a pretty good price. That you're getting them at a dog, for God's sakes. So my number, when I made this number, I've got San Diego as a 108 favorite. So I'm sitting here going, holy crap, I can get San Diego. I think they're supposed to be a favorite. I can get them as a dog. Sign me up. So I'm all in on that one. I do think Manaea pitches a little bit better today. And when I looked at Atlanta's offense, one of the things that I thought I was surprised by, where's Atlanta's offense? They have two guys over the last week that is over the one WAR, what I've been talking about on offense, and they got 5 guys in the negative. So that's not a very good scenario for them, and it is a good scenario for Manaea. So I like that part of it. That Diaz and Blackburn game. Blackburn is off of a game score 73. And, it seems like he's come out of nowhere. But he's been around for a long time. I mean, he pitched against the Angels back in 2016 and 2015 and stuff. So I don't use those results because it's not current. But I would tell you a couple of things. This is not the game you want to bet the Angels on. You want to bet them in the second game if you want to play them. And the reason you want to play them in the second game is 2 things. One, that you got a better pitcher going for you in the second time, which is Sorensen. Not that he's the greatest guy in the world, but he's a little better pitcher. But the Oakland A's I think they lead the day today with offensive guys in the negative WAR category. I think they have 11. I mean, holy shit, 11 guys. Man, that you ought to call up the whole AAA team, and it would be better than batting those guys. That's what it amounts to. So you're better off in the second game. You just got to figure out how to bet it. The next game I did play though, this is Zimmerman and Pineda. This is this game is 9:15, 9:16, starts at 4:10. I think Pineda is overrated in this game. Now I will say that my number was minus 115. I think the number is minus 115, so you can get him at plus 105. I like Baltimore at plus 105, and that's because Detroit's not hitting the ball. And you got Zimmerman, who somehow, some way has figured out how to pitch. He's the only Baltimore Oriole that I know, besides John Means, who is not going to pitch the rest of the season, who can actually pitch. So his numbers are 3.45, 3.40 for XFIP and Sierra, and Pineda's 4.5 and 4.57. So there's a 1-run advantage right there. And over the course of time, the last time Pineda, and you got to go kind of understand that I don't go back past the 2019. His game score against Baltimore is a 47, so that's not very good. And I like the idea too that he just threw a pretty good game the last time out. He threw a game score 54, and he's averaging a game score 48. Here's another thing that I've been really tracking that I think has been working pretty good. Pineda has an 87% left on base percentage. That's not something that you can keep. That's not something that's going to stay there forever. Now, I will tell you that the better guys, your Scherzers and your Garrett Coles and some of these other guys, they get that number up there. But it's not going to be that way for a guy like Pineda because he gets hit. So I like the idea that you can get Zimmerman as a small dog here. I think Baltimore wins this game, and I'll take Zimmerman plus the 105. The next game is Lauer and Rogers, and if I was going to do anything in this game, I'd bet the under, but I'm not going to play it at all. Lauer is better than Peralta this year, Jeff. So what you run into is you really run into Burns is just awesome, and then you run into Woodruff, but Woodruff hasn't been any good at all. So then you jump in Lauer, and then you run Peralta out there, and holy crap, nobody can score against this team, and Lauer's been really good. So I like Milwaukee today, but I think it's just like yesterday, Lopez held his own against Burns yesterday, and I was proud of that because I really like Lopez. It was 1-1 until late in the game before it finally became 2-1. But I just think that they're going to have trouble scoring again, and Rogers will have a much harder time keeping up with Lauer than did Lopez yesterday with Burns. So that really puts Milwaukee as a pretty strong favorite here, and their numbers match that. So I'm staying off of that game. And then, I like what you said about Hill and Otto. I do like the Red Sox here. I don't like Otto very well, but I don't like Hill coming off of a great start because I think he's going to be up and down, up and down, up and down. So I'm not going to play that one, but I am going to play. This one's one of my favorite plays of the day. I'm going to play the Cincinnati Reds today. Holy shit, I'm going to play the Cincinnati Reds today. Did I just say that? So I'm going to play the Cincinnati Reds and Luis Castillo today because he has had major success against the Pirates in the past. He's only made one start. He pitched 4.5 innings, and he had a little bit of a walk problem. So I don't think there's a problem him going 5 or 6. And he's facing Thompson, and now Thompson's been really bad, and he's off of his best outing ever. I shouldn't say ever. It's his best outing of the season. A game score 71. And guess what? It was the last time out. And guess who it was against? Cincinnati. So I like the idea that Cincinnati's going to hit this guy and make some adjustments. And the numbers look real good for Castillo here. And I think you can get him at minus 110. So you get a small favorite. I like that idea. And to be honest, I don't think Cincinnati, even though that everybody's going to tell you how bad they are, they're not as bad as their record is. They just are not. They're going to win 70 games. So it just depends on if they can get to 74 or 75 and cover that total over-under number. But they're going to win. They're going to win more than what Pittsburgh is going to win. And I think they're a better team than what Pittsburgh is. And right now you got them hitting. So I'm all in there. Javier and Fetty, I'm going to skip this game. I like Houston. I don't like Javier today. And the reason I don't like Javier today is, he's made 2 starts. His last time he pitched, he didn't start. He came in and pitched 3 innings. I don't like the way they use him. I want them to determine what they want to do with Javier because I think Javier could be an asset to that team as a starter. And if they want to put him out there, I think he's going to be better than Urquidy. But that's obviously not my choice. That's their choice. But if you're gonna put a guy in middle relief, three innings, he's not going to be able to start and go more than 4 innings. So I don't like that. I don't like the way that they've got that set up that way. And Fetty, believe it or not, has been one of the better Washington pitchers. Now I know Gray was pretty good for most of the. I mean, his record's 4-2 now after he got beat by Houston yesterday. But Fetty, numbers wise, is he matches up pretty good here. So I'm just going to leave that alone. I don't just that's like what Bieber's off a game score of 15, Jeff, but which typically means I'm all in on Bieber, but I'm not all in on Bieber today. And I'm not all on Bieber because I think he's hurt. I think something's wrong with him. I don't something's not right. You can't go from 92 miles an hour to 89 miles an hour and be an ace. You just can't. So I'm worried about him. And Smeltzer, this will be his first start of the season for Minnesota. And they're hitting the ball halfway decent. So I'm just going to stay off of that one. We didn't really talk much about Kirby, the kid that's pitching for Seattle. That kid's a stud, bro. That guy can throw. Now, I think he's going to have a good game today, but you know how I feel about Bassett. I think this is Bassett or pass. And then when you start to look at what the numbers are, I think you're going to run into a trouble here. So I don't want to play that number either. But I think that in the future you want to look for this Kirby kid to be in good spots. I don't think today's a good one for him. Montgomery and Keuchel, there's no way you're going to get me to support Keuchel, and there's no way you're going to get me to play the Yankees in these numbers that they're going to be throwing out there. So I'm just going to sit there and watch the Yankees and go, oh, look, they hit another home run. Okay, they're great. And then we see the games I bet on. Hernandez and Marquez, I think there's trouble in paradise there with Marquez. Marquez has been their best pitcher for a long time, and he's struggling so far this season. His numbers look like they're starting to turn. His xFIP number is 366, his SARS 320. Oops, that's the wrong guy. It's 390 and 409. But his strikeout rates, Jeff, are what bother me. He's at a 7.5, and he's at 9 strikeout per 9 guy, and his walk rate's really high. So not that he's facing a guy that's any good. I mean, Hernandez is terrible. So I'm not jumping on board with this. But I am going to play another one. I got 5 plays today. Holy crap. But whatever, that's the way it is. I'm playing them. I'm playing Arizona and Gallon first 5 minus a half a run minus the 115. And the biggest reason is not because of it's Hendricks or anything else. Now Hendricks off a game score 90. What do you think he's going to throw today? So here they are right here. This is it. Chicago. Chicago has one guy who's offensively over that 1 WAR number, and that's the catcher. And 10 guys, Jeff, are negative in the WAR number on offense, and they're going to face Gallon today. I don't like their chances to score hardly any runs. So I'm all good. I'm going to take Arizona. I'm going to understand that there's a good likelihood that they'll score a couple runs off of Hernandez or of Hendricks. I just hope they do it early, not late. And I'm not going to play the Phillies game. If I was going to play it, I would try to figure out how to play the Dodgers tonight.
I know we're speculating Bieber's hurt, and I'm just going to ask you an outright question here. I know a lot of times you talk about game score and bounce back. Bieber is a 1. He's a stud. He's an ace. Coming off of a 15, that's pure speculation that he is hurt, correct? Because Smeltzer is no walk in the park, no pun intended.
Well, Smeltzer, this is his first start, and I'm going to guess he's only going to go 3 innings or something. He's been in the minor leagues for a little while. I mean, he played last year, filled in for them pretty nicely and all that. But you would expect a good number from Bieber today. You would think, ideally you would think he would go out and dominate this game. I'm trying to pull him up here for a second because I want to show you something. So his game score so far 63, 56, 70, 40, 43, 62, 15. So when he has a bad game, he comes back with a good game. But what my concern is that you can come back from a bad game if you got good stuff, right? And if your stuff is not as good as it used to be, maybe you're not going to be able to bounce. And that's my concern with where he's at, because let me pull up one other thing here, because this is important. Let me go back to pitches, right? Because remember, we talk about plus pitches, minus pitches, and all that stuff. So here is Bieber, and Bieber's a minus on his fastball, a minus on his slider. That's not good because he's a slider type pitcher. He's barely plus on the cutter, so I don't really worry about that. He's got a good curveball, and he's barely plus on the changeup. So he's got 3 plus pitches, 2 minus pitches, but the 2 plus pitches, would put him. I mean, his best pitch right now is a curveball, and I'm good with that. And let me see what his pitch type. So he's throwing. Bieber's throwing the fastball 38% of the time. That's it. He's throwing the slider 41% of the time. And remember, the slider's a negative pitch for him. So that's not a good thing. And his curveball, he's throwing 17, 18% of the time, which is his best pitch that he's got. So he's fighting a negative pitch, 2 negative pitches at 79, 80% of his pitches. 80% of his pitches are negative pitches right now. And one's really good. So that's where I say he's got a problem, because something's wrong. Now I could go into a little further detail if I go look at spin rates and movements and stuff. I'm not looking at that right this second. I'm just trying to take a more of an overview look, but I think something's wrong with him.
Well, we hope not here for our fantasy sake, but we'll obviously.
No, I understand. Look, I really like Shane Bieber. He's a great pitcher, but you don't normally see stuff like this.
So for all the listeners, we can't thank you enough. Without you, there is no ECSI. It is a busy, busy, busy day. For all the puck heads here, buckle up. 3 game 7s. Obviously, the locals, Bruins at 4:35. And then back at the Garden tomorrow for the Celtics in game 7 versus Giannis. Red Sox have won 2 in a row. It's a big board, obviously, in the MLB. The day before the last day of the week. So take a look at where you stand for the week. Take a look at some of your series plays. Again, game 7s for the most part are coin flips. I know some of the numbers don't say that, but they are. In hockey, a bad bounce with the puck. In the NBA, it could be someone out of nowhere that gets hot. The stars don't shine. I mean, I would fully expect Giannis to shine tomorrow. And is it Tatum again? Now they're starting to say, one of the big matchups in the East now is Giannis versus Tatum. I won't go that far yet because I don't think Tatum has been as consistent as Giannis. But baseball is starting to round into form. There are some great matchups today. But again, you don't want to be playing a bazillion games if your weekly number doesn't dictate that. If you got a big board, I'm not advocating for parlays, but sometimes if you have a big board and you want to get into a lot of games, you can shorten it by putting 2-3 games together in a parlay and then single out a few single games as well. So tomorrow, myself and Riley Maggs will be here for the Breakfast Bankroll on Sunday. And then next week, busy week. Rob from B2B Beating the Book, myself and him will be doing a PGA preview on Wednesday. There we'll also have Andrew McGinnis in the afternoon for our normal cross the border. On Friday, Sean Alvarez will be breaking down the Preakness without Strike Rich. So we'll have that. And we got some other guests we're waiting for confirmation from. So busy times here. And we can't thank you enough. So always remember this. If you are wagering today, tonight, tomorrow, please do it responsibly. If you do have a problem, pick up the phone. There's an 800 number available. Ask for help. Why? Myself and Scotty care. We'd like to see you here today, tomorrow, next week, next month, through 2022 and beyond. From myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from the one and only Scotty Webb at Webby20MLB. We wish everyone a blessed day. Have a great weekend. Summer is on its way, and we'll see you in the morning.